This review contains spoilers. All gameplay footage in this video is the work of PB Horror Gaming. It was a white background with nothing but a shadow in the game's name in yellow text that first intrigued me to Kona. I saw it on the homepage of my brother's PlayStation 5 earlier this week. Googling it, then seeing a glowing green 80% off on Steam, I decided to take my chances on something I knew absolutely nothing about going in. When I discuss games, I consider three aspects in my critique: story, gameplay, and replayability. However, Kona was not made with replayability in mind. There are achievements to go get, sure, but pretty much every game has those, and they aren't offering a new experience, just a grind. So similarly to how I wouldn't grade Tetris on its story, I find it unfair to deduct points on replayability for a game that's clearly designed to be played through once. In the game, you play as detective and Korean War veteran Carl Faubert in 1970. He is sent to a fictional town in Nol du Quebec to investigate acts of vandalism against William Hamilton, a rich businessman in the area. When you arrive at the town's general store, you find his body lying on the ground. He has been shot. This launches you into a murder mystery, while also trying to survive the harsh blizzard that has descended upon the region. As you explore, you find that the town is largely abandoned, and there are strange glowing ice crystals everywhere. Alarmingly, there are also several people, frozen solid, that produce visions of how they died when you first approach their corpses. Eventually, you reach an area called the Sanctuary, where one of these visions explains that Hamilton killed a local woman in a hunting accident, and the town doctor, seeking revenge, murdered him. Then you remove a bolt from a tree and discover that the thing turning everybody into ice statues was the Wendigo. The Wendigo chases you down to a harbor as you fight off several wolves and you escape by boat before being found on the water by a patrolman. The game ends, and I'm left with a lot to be desired. Kona, simply put, doesn't know what it wants to be. Is it a tale of supernatural forces overtaking a sleepy town, or a chilling murder mystery that's grounded in reality? Both plots work somewhat well on their own, but they don't gel together at all. The murder of Hamilton takes a massive backseat around halfway through, and the main focus becomes finding the culprit of the otherworldly icy deaths. Then the reveal of Hamilton's killer is shoehorned into the final cutscene before the Wendigo boss fight. It just doesn't feel natural at all. There was so much potential here for an excellent narrative, somewhat ruined by the developers trying to fit two stories into one game. Grade 6 out of 10. Let's start with some positives here. I think the UI in Kona is great. Menus are accessible and organized, object interaction is intuitive, and your various statuses, warmth, stress, and health, are visible at the click of a button and show up on screen when changing. Also, for the game's price and system requirements, the graphics are good but nothing extraordinary. What I especially like, though, are how the flashlights and snowmobile headlight look. They perfectly slice the darkness and move smoothly along with you. I bring this up because a lot of games somehow mess up such a simple detail like this. I also think the driving is sound. The only problem is not being able to open the map on the snowmobile, but that's not a huge inconvenience. There's some light puzzle solving and logic throughout the game too, which helps keep you engaged and think critically about the lore. Now for some problems. To start, the game has a really interesting concept of mixing a mystery plot with survival mechanics, but the issue is you don't really have to survive at all. What I mean is the game is way too easy. You're given access to painkillers and first aid kits, but never have to use them because it's so hard to actually die. For example, you're not forced to eat or drink to live, despite the ability to fill up beverages and obtain stakes. Wolves should do more damage, crashing your car should hurt you, instead of just increasing stress. Also, the inventory in this game is way too small, which, connecting back to my previous point, wouldn't be an issue if you didn't pick up 40 painkillers and end up using only like 2 of them. Furthermore, the game lags a ton, and it's not just my crappy PC. Literal speedruns of this game are forced to lose time from lag, and my brother also reported experiencing it to a lesser degree on a PS5, a modern console designed to easily handle this kind of game. Lastly, the Wendigo boss fight is just so underwhelming. You run from him and shoot wolves before escaping. That's it. Not at all a good climax. But all in all, the gameplay's fine. The things I talked about don't absolutely ruin the experience, except the boss fight, and the rest is good, so it's good. 7.5 out of 10. So overall, I give Kona a 13.5 out of 20. It is worth noting, though, that this style of game is just inherently not really my cup of tea, so maybe add a grain of salt before deciding to not play it.